Hello, guys. Today I'll be talking about different apps and technologies, and I'm kind of going to reimagine how the apps and technologies would have been back in the 80s and 90s. So, one app that I use a lot is Notes, which is in my laptop because I use a MacBook, and in my phone, which is an iPhone. So, I'm trying to understand how Notes would have been back in the 80s, and I realize that a lot of information that gets stored would in back in 80s would have to be processed through command line, and I'm going to show you an example of how we can do that. So, as you can see, I have written a code over here in my command line that is cd desktop. That is where I want my file to be saved, and then cat with the crocodile mouth notes.txt. That's going to be my file, and then I wrote a message which is this, and I press Control Z, which created it. As you can see, it's right here, and it got saved on my desktop, which is right here. So this is how it would have been back in the 80s, and if we look at it in the 90s, I believe there would be a lot more drop down options such as file, edit, format, view, which would come into picture for helping us to save, edit, duplicate, and store and categorize as well. Say you have different files and you want it under one place, that is notes.txt. It might help you to do that. Say one folder for economics, one for business, and you can have different notes inside them. That would have been something in the 90s. And if we go to see today's text editors, so they come up with various different functionalities. I'm gonna try and open this 1 second. Let's close this up. Yes, command S, text edit, and I'm gonna go on a new document. So this is what the text editor looks like in today's world, in which I can make bold, italic, underline. I can give it different fonts and different kind of format of writing. I want to choose a font size, bold, italic, underline. I want to make my content more organized. Then I can select all and probably put it in the center, align it to the left, right, or right in the middle. You can even select the font size, the gapping between the lines. So all these are different functionalities that we have today, along with being able to share the document, even log the document, protect it. So those are different kind of functionalities that have occurred over the period of time. And yeah, that's more or less how the notes has changed over a period of time, as you can see. And I'm even gonna highlight upon the point that back in the day when notes were probably used on a PC, they were basically a command line function from which people used to store the information at a place. And later on, over a decade later, it might have progressed with them being able to categorize them, being able to label their documents, and even putting them into different sectors in one file. So that is something I assume would have happened in the 90s. And in today's generation, we all use different apps like Google Keep, Apple Notes, text editors for saving our notes. So we see various different functionalities. So that's more or less what's happening with the Notes app. So I'd like to leave you guys with one thing. Think about how apps would have been your favorite app, for example, Spotify. Think about it, how it might have been during back in the time when there were basically records and radio, and try and understand what kind of technology would they have been using and what kind of technology are we using now. Thank you so much.